Hello and welcome to Automotive Tech Week here in Novi, Michigan. I am Tom Murphy and I'm the managing editor for WardsAuto, and we are talking with some companies who are involved here this week in Auto Tech Week. We have Marco Marinucci from Hella Ventures, and we also have Taymur Ahmad from Actnano. And Actnano has some interesting product news to share with us. But first, tell us a bit about the company, tell us where you're from and your primary automotive product line.
Yeah, so we're a Boston-based company, and we do surface protection technologies, which is basically protecting surfaces of different sorts, from fabric, glass to electronics. In automotive, we have been in production vehicles for about 4 years. What we do is we protect the electronic components that are inside your car. And so the automobile basically went from being mostly a mechanical device, a mechanical machine that had a few electronics part on it, to an electronic device that has a few mechanical parts on it. And as this electronification inside the car increases, we realize that there's a need for protecting the electronics. Electronics and water don't mix. And
we're talking about the mission critical systems, steering, braking,
absolutely,
powertrain also.
Yeah, so they're critical to safety. We've got we're not to powertrain yet because those are high voltages. We are looking at power steering systems, braking systems, but we're also looking at ADAS, which is basically what's going to drive your car in the future. It's driving your car mostly now. So
because you don't want vapor on those chips, because it will affect the performance of the system overall.
That's exactly right.
Negatively, perhaps.
Yeah. So if you even if you have a small condensation bead from being inside the car garage and then going out to a cold wintry day, you can have a condensation bead that can sit on a chip that's controlling your car, the acceleration, braking, or any of the other things, and that failure can be catastrophic to life and your car.
So your company's been around for 10 years. You're based in Boston, and tell us about your customer base in automotive.
Yeah, so most American automakers are our customer base. So you know them all: Tesla, Ford, Chrysler. These car companies in America have done really well by moving very quickly to this protection system, because they've seen the oversight that water doesn't mix with electronics. And we're putting I think the Tesla has 250 PCBs in the car, the printed circuit board assemblies, these green wafers that run the car. And they're just going to go increasing more and more in it. So the American car companies have done well, and now we're starting to move into Germany, and we've got some programs starting with very large German automakers.
Okay, and I understand there's some investment news. Can you tell us about the Hella Ventures investments in the company?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're super excited to be part of the journey now with Actnano. We just joined together with BMW Ventures and one additional German automaker, the Series B investment round of Actnano. I think Taymur can talk a little bit about the size of the round. It's the size of a round, and it's an expansion round, as Taymur just mentioned. They're already successful in the US. Hella is a very successful tier 1 supplier, especially in the European market, but also in China. And we have an additional investor coming in from the Japanese market, helping us with the Japanese customers to expand in those markets.
So Hella, everybody knows Hella as an enormous electronics and headlamp producer, headlamp modules. Why does this product fit well with what you do? Explain the vital need that Actnano provides, and explaining why it is you're investing in it now.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the key things that we do at Hella Ventures is only invest in companies that are financially doing very well and growing quickly, but at the same time have a very key component or key to the product portfolio that already exists at Hella or to the manufacturing processes. And Actnano, we already use coatings today. They need to be masked. They can't be over connectors. They need a lot of energy in high temperature ovens to dry out. They're basically mixed with toxic chemicals in the on the manufacturing floor, which isn't good for our employees Actnano doesn't need heat that dries out within seconds. And functions over any connector, functions over any antenna, functions over chips. So that's, for us, makes our manufacturing processes easier. It's cheaper to go down this path. And in the end, it's also healthier and better for our planet because we need less energy to coat our PCBAs. So that's the entire investment rationale. And having a company that is at this stage now already expanding in millions of cars, or already in production with millions of cars, is the perfect stage for companies, or our investment firm likes to come in and effectively grow together with the company and the product portfolio that HELLA already has. And I mean, we produce around 100 million PCBAs every year, and so that's hopefully an attractive customer.
That's a lot of circuit boards.
It's a lot of circuit boards. Yes, exactly.
So Taymur, tell us what you do with all this extra money that's going to be coming your way. You've got BMW investing, HELLA Ventures. We're going to hear about another automaker apparently that is pumping some money in. What do you need this cash for, and what are you going to do with it?
Yeah, so it's a simple plan of global expansion. If it works in the Mach-E and if it works in the Tesla, it should work in the Toyota Corolla. It should work in the BMW 3 Series. And that's our basic expansion. America is our home market. We started here, we did really well here, and now it's time for us to expand into Germany, Japan, and hopefully a little bit of Korea, Hyundai, Kia also. So for us, this is, it could not have come at a better time. I think their endorsement means a lot to us. Remember, we're a tier 2 supplier, so our customers really are HELLA, and then their customers is BMW. So having an endorsement from the OEMs and the tier 1s is a very important thing, especially from a German tier 1 that gets us into the key market that we're next going into. And we also have some investment from TDK, which is a Japanese company, a little bit adjacent to our technology, and they've invested, and so we'll use that to get into Japan. Okay. So all this takes money to expand into Germany and Japan, and that's what we're going to use it to get there.
So there's extreme cost pressure on suppliers, whether you're tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3, from the automakers. Everybody wants the part for less. So can you tell us briefly, how does Actnano fit in the general scope of component supply, and is this fairly expensive but worth it because you're protecting these vital mission critical systems, or is it a fairly inexpensive technology for suppliers to use in their everyday printed circuit boards that they're making for automakers?
Yeah, it's the number one question, right? If you're going to be in automotive, you need to be able to address the cost pressure.
Cost down.
Yes, and here's the kicker: our coating, our technology, our process costs less. So if HELLA, which I predict that they will move from the isocyanates, fluorine, bad coatings to our surface protection technology, they'll save up to 20% on the same module that they were using that. Now, why is that? It's not just because the material is cheaper. Material is more expensive. They don't need the oven. They don't need the oven that capital investment, and the energy cost of running that oven goes away. There used to be a process called masking and demasking, which is basically putting masking tape on parts of the PCBA, and then you spray this coating on, and then you take the masking out. There's a labor involved in both those. With ours, it doesn't. It goes everywhere. Our coating goes in the antenna, it goes in the processor, it goes in the connector. With the other coatings, couldn't go to the other place. So we actually protect the entire PCB. We take costs out of the system. We're better for the human that's working on it, and we're better for the environment. So it's just a win in every direction. And so many of the investors, customers have seen that very, very easily. And we actually had a OEM, a large one, do a full analysis from using traditional conformal coatings, which is what they used to be called, to our surface protection technology. And one of them saw 60% drop in cost from what they were doing in a power steering module to using our process, because all these process costs go away. And we actually speed up the factory a little bit. So this is a very important to HELLA, where the cycle times of the factory go up. So now you can pump out more parts with the same capital. The old coatings and conformal coatings, they take about 10 minutes of heating and cure time in the middle. The process of putting it down takes twice as long. Ours is 10 seconds to put it down, no cure time. And so you can speed up the factory and put out more parts at the same. So there's another cost saving there that we don't talk about.
Okay. So yeah, one last question. We're running low on time here. Help us understand overall, the overall revenue stream for the company. Say this year, what you're expecting, maybe the next couple of years. Can you give us some idea how many vehicles on the road with your technology? What you're forecasting for the next couple of years? It sounds like you have some pretty big plans for expansion.
That's correct. We started with production vehicles about 4 years ago. Last year we did 1.2 million vehicles. This year we're going to do 2.5. Next year we're going to do 5. We've been doubling for the last 2 years. We've been doubling our revenues every year, and that's the plan going forward. I don't see any slowdown in
5 million
that.
vehicles with your technology based on business that's booked currently.
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah. So these are just programs that we're already spec'd into. So Tesla's just going to make 1 million cars, and so we're already into those programs. Same with Ford. It depends on how many Mach-E's they make. Depends on, but those numbers are pretty set in forecast from these OEMs. So we're pretty confident in the next 2 years that we're going to double our revenue because we know those programs are coming and what they're going to do. The key here is for us is to expand into Germany and do that lateral move to Germany and then to Japan to the Corolla and the 3 Series, and those will then be multipliers ahead of the doubling pace that we've kept for the last 2 years.
Well, good. We will keep tabs on the company. Actnano has Taymur Ahmad here, and from Hella Ventures we have Marco Marinucci. Thank you so much for talking with us. Thank you for watching, and I'm Tom Murphy from WardsAuto. Have a great day.